Hello students, welcome to Edublossom. Today we are going to start with chapter Our Environment, and in this video we are going to proceed with the introductory part of this chapter. So let's proceed with this chapter and discuss what is environment. So what is the meaning of the term environment? So environment is a combination of physical surroundings of a particular region and the kind of living organisms living in that region and the climatic conditions prevailing in a region. When all these things are put together, these constitute an environment. So what is the meaning of physical surroundings? Physical surroundings means the surroundings where some living organism is living. The person may be living in the mountainous region, or may be living in the plains, or may be living in the desert areas, or may be living in the polar areas, or in very cold areas, snow-covered areas. These are known as physical surroundings. And living organisms. Different type of living organisms may be present in an environment. Human beings may be present, animals may be present, birds may be present, insects may be present, microorganisms may be present, fungal members, bacteria, and so many other living organisms may be present in an environment. And a particular kind of climatic conditions may be prevailing in that region. Maybe the region is having high temperature or low temperature, or high humidity or low humidity, or pH changes, or so many other things. So when all these things are put together, these constitute an environment. What is an ecosystem? It is the structural and functional unit of a biosphere. Sir A.G. Tinsley in 1935 coined this term ecosystem. He actually introduced the concept of ecosystem in biology. But we need to discuss this term ecosystem in a bit detail. Let's discuss it in detail. And for discussion in detail, let's have a look at this picture. So this is a picture of an ecosystem. So what is shown here in this ecosystem? So many living organisms are present here. Human being is there. Then trees are there. Different kinds of trees, shrubs, herbs, grasses, different kinds of plants, maybe aquatic plants, phytoplankton may be there, or zooplankton may be there. Some other animals like fish may be there, frogs may be there in this pond, and birds are visible here. Some birds are sitting on the tree also, and one peacock is also visible in this picture. So, what does it mean? An ecosystem is having different kinds of living organisms in it. And these living organisms are interacting with each other, and they are interacting with the non-living things also. What kind of non-living things? Like air is present here. So air consists of different kinds of gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide. So this oxygen from the air is used by different kinds of living organisms in the process of respiration, and carbon dioxide is given out. This carbon dioxide is used by different kinds of plants in the process of photosynthesis, and food is made, and for the food, all the kinds of animals, they depend upon the plants for food. Similarly, the soil is here. So soil consists of different kind of minerals and nutrients. So these minerals are absorbed by the plants, and this way these minerals, they become an integral part of the plant protoplasm, and when animals feed on these plants, these minerals enter into the animal protoplasm also. Similarly, sunlight is here, and sunlight is also very important for the living organisms. Plants synthesize their food in the presence of light only. Similarly, this light affects the animals also. There are certain kind of animals which are active during day, some are active during night. So the light affects the lifestyle of living organisms also, animals also. So different kind of non-living and living organisms are interacting here and constituting a structural and functional unit of the biosphere. This is known as ecosystem. So there may be different kinds of ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, forest ecosystem, or aquatic ecosystems may also be there. Not only this pond of water is making the ecosystem, even a drop of water taken from this pond constitutes an ecosystem in itself. How come this? See, this drop of water is having water and gas is dissolved in it, and there might be some living organisms as well. Some phytoplanktons may be there, some zooplanktons may be there. So living and non-living both are interacting here in this drop of pond water. So this is also an ecosystem in itself. So this is the overall idea of ecosystem. Let's discuss about the components of ecosystem now. What are the components of an ecosystem? Ecosystem consists of two kinds of components, living and non-living. Living components are known as biotic components. So biotic components can be categorized into different categories. So if we take the criteria of food formation, then we can categorize the living organisms into these categories. Producers or autotrophs. Auto means self. Troph means nutrition. So the organisms which can prepare their own food are known as autotrophs or producers. Then consumers. These consumers are heterotrophs. They cannot make their own food and they depend upon producers for their food, either directly or indirectly. Like herbivores, they directly feed on the plants. Carnivores, they feed on the herbivores because they are the flesh eaters. Omnivores, they can eat plants also, they can eat animals also. So either directly or indirectly, our consumers are dependent upon producers for the food. Similarly, decomposers. When these plants or animals, they die, then their bodies are decayed. So the decomposition process starts where the microorganisms like many bacteria and fungi, they break down the complex organic substances into the simpler ones, and the process is known as decomposition. So decomposers take their food from dead and decaying organic matter. So all these things are the biotic components of an ecosystem. So there may be one more criteria also of dividing these biotic components into different categories, like this one. We can say that living organisms or biotic components may be divided into these 5 categories. Prokaryotes, including bacteria. Protists, which are eukaryotic organisms. Fungi members, different kinds of plants, different kinds of animals. So these are also the biotic components of ecosystem. We can use different criteria for the categorization of these living organisms. Then come to the second type of components. These are abiotic components. So which things are included in these kind of biotic components? First of all the non-living. A means without, bio means living. So all non-living components are included in this category. What are these components? Air. Air may be consisting of different kind of gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide. And these gases are used in different ways. Like oxygen is used in the process of respiration. Carbon dioxide is used in the process of photosynthesis. Then wind also blows. This wind helps in the pollination of different kinds of plants and it affects the rate of transpiration also. Then light is also there. Light is required for the process of photosynthesis and it influences the life pattern of different animals also. Like some of the animals which are known as nocturnal, they are active during dark. Some are active during daytime. Similarly, water. This is the most important component for the life. All living organisms need water. And then temperature. So temperature is also very much important. For example, some of the organisms, they live in cold regions like the polar bear or penguins. Some animals live in the hot conditions. And if we speak of the enzymes, they have a very specific temperature range, like 20 degrees to 40 degrees Celsius is the optimum temperature for all kinds of enzymes to give maximum output. So if the temperature is reduced below 20 degree or if temperature exceeds above 40 degree, then the rate of enzyme action is reduced. So this way, the enzyme activity or the rate of metabolism of different kind of organisms depends upon temperature. Then we come to the soil. Different kinds of vegetations develop in and grow in different kinds of soils, like in clay soil, loamy soil, sandy soil, silt soil, and soils provide minerals also. So different kind of minerals are provided to the plants. Similarly, pH scale. Some organisms They live in a basic environment. Some may be living in neutral pH. So these all are what? These are abiotic components. And what happens in an ecosystem? These biotic and abiotic components interact with each other and form a structural and functional unit of a biosphere. So that is known as ecosystem. Now we come to the types of ecosystem. So ecosystem is basically divided into two categories, natural and artificial. And as the name indicates, natural is made by nature and artificial, these are man-made. So what are the kinds of natural ecosystem? Natural ecosystem may be again of two types, terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial means on land, and it may be on a forest or a grassland or in a desert. Similarly, the aquatic ecosystem may be of two types, freshwater and marine. Marine means seawater, and freshwater may again be of different kinds, like the flowing ones or the stagnant water or in the wetlands. You need not to learn all these things in detail because these have been given only for a broader understanding. And now we come to the second kind of ecosystem, that is artificial, which is man-made, synthetic. It is again of two types, terrestrial and aquatic. So terrestrial is on land. So if we talk about a crop field or a garden, a lawn that is made by man, and that is an example of terrestrial artificial ecosystem. Because in a crop field or in some agricultural farm or in some lawn or garden, all the selected plants are raised by the human beings. These have not grown naturally. Similarly, aquatic artificial ecosystem. If you think of an aquarium, that is an example of artificial aquatic ecosystem. Similarly, a pond made by man, that is also an example of aquatic artificial ecosystem. So we can say that ecosystem is basically of two types, natural and artificial. Natural is again of two types, terrestrial and aquatic. Artificial is again of two types, terrestrial and aquatic. Natural terrestrial ecosystem may be of three kinds, forest, grassland and desert. And natural aquatic ecosystem may be of two types, freshwater and marine. So that is all about the concept of ecosystem. Now we are going to proceed with food chains and food webs. And we are going to discuss food chains and food webs in the second part of our environment. That is in the second video. So see you all there in the next video. Thank you so much and have a nice day.